Yes, testing is the least funnest thing. On today's video, I have to do this. Testing water. How important it is to do. I know I did a video on it before about talking about our AquaSpin in test, but at home test also. For saltwater and freshwater. One important thing with saltwater, you gotta make sure salinity is correct. If that is not correct, a lot of the other numbers really don't matter, like calcium, alk, magnesium. That changes everything. Low salt, that means everything else is low. High salt, everything is high. On a lot of these videos, I'm trying to think when people are coming in, see what issues people are having. And I see one big thing is always the water test. So I'm gonna do a video on how to help and kind of understand things a little bit better. Or if you guys have questions, just come on in and I'll help you out with it too. But let's get started with salt. One thing again, test the salt. We have a lot of different testers to do. For the store, we use the Hanna digital test kit. Super easy to use. You calibrate it. I calibrate the store one every day, but normally you can probably calibrate it once a month. So all you do is just take this off and you just test it. It'll give you a reading. Normally we want the salt to be 1.023 to 2.5. In the store, we usually keep about 2.4, 2.5 ID. If it's a 1.023, it's okay. It's just you're tipping on the little lower end. Anything above 2.5, for us it's a little too high because of evaporation. You got to make sure you're on top of it. So just to kind of talk about the salt checkers that we have. We do carry a hydrometer, the plastic one. It's better than nothing, but I really don't recommend it. First couple uses are great on them, but over time, salt crystallizes in there and gives you a weird reading. So I try to shy away from this. I mean, it's good to have just to cross-reference. If you ever think the Hanna's off or something's off, you can use this just to make sure. One thing with testing the water, if water ever comes out a little weird, don't go with the first test. Calm down, do a second test, even a third test, just to make sure. We have a lot of people that really just do one test, they get scared and they do something right away. When the water could have been fine, it could have just been a weird test with that. Normally salt doesn't really change too much unless if you haven't topped off the tank, if you did a water change and the salt was a little too high or too low, that's when things really change. Everybody wants this, everybody always asks, we want the corals to grow faster. Me too. But it doesn't work like that. You can't just put chemicals in and expect them to grow. Believe it or not, when elements are too high, it can actually stop the growth of corals. So you really gotta make sure your numbers are there. I wish you don't have to test and we just put everything in and be good. But you really have to test the tank to make it go to that next level. So we'll talk about some other salt checkers. We have a refractometer. For me, I kind of call it old school. People still really like it. The only thing I don't like about it is you have to calibrate every time you use it. And for me, when I walk, I kind of swing my arms a little bit, so the calibration screw gets messed up. So that's why it comes in a foam case, as you see, so it stays in calibration. But you always want to make sure, like me just doing that will adjust the calibration screw. So that really stresses me out. That's why I really like the Hanna. I check our salt every day, so I know if something's actually really weird about it. So this is the calibration fluid for it. Really not bad for one fish tank. We'll probably do fine, but just digital, I really like using that. The Tropic Marin. I know this looks really weird. It's a glass floater. This was actually voted the most accurate. It can go in your sump. You can put it in your tank, it just looks really ugly, but floats. This is actually a really accurate salt checker. So I usually put them in the sump and I'd cross-reference it with this if it's ever off, just so I get the right numbers. So those two are a must-have. I love those two. These two, they're okay, but go with those. Next, saltwater master test kit. I always hear people talk about API, they're worried about accuracy. But truthfully, if your ammonia, nitrites, even nitrates are high, you're gonna do something about it. It doesn't matter if it's 0.25, 0.5. You have to do something about it if your ammonia is high. So this is a great test just for your cycle period, just to get it over with. Great investment to have just to make sure everything's okay. Again, we have it for freshwater. Same test kit. This one comes with low range and high range pH. This one only comes with high range pH because for salt water. Again, test. We don't know if your water is doing good or not. Crystal clear water doesn't mean anything. You really got to test the water. A lot of people now are having problems with nitrates, phosphates being too low. So when it's something like that, we carry the Hanna checkers. Those are digital checkers. Those are awesome to have. If you're having dinos in the system, and make sure you use those. A lot of people, when they see algae, they do water changes. For dinos, you don't want to do that. You really got to raise up the nutrients, run a UV. There's a lot of different things for dinos. Doing water change will make it worse. So if you know your nitrates and phosphates are low, you probably have that. You probably don't have hair algae, diatoms, you don't have that. So again, bring pictures in, we can help you out with that. Again, on this video, I really want to just emphasize how important testing the water for your aquarium is. We also, again, like on our last video, we have the AquaSpin. You can always bring in the water, we can always cross-reference it for you. It's $10. Bring in a Ziploc baggie. That's usually best, water bottle, but make sure you strain it out a couple of times in the tank just so we get the right salts test in it. Yeah, so I'm gonna talk about freshwater now. Freshwater testing. This one's a huge one. Saltwater usually stays pretty stable because the biomedia, the filtration. Freshwater is the one that changes quite a bit. I really encourage all freshwater owners to have a freshwater master test kit and like a temperature gauge just to make sure everything's good. Testing the water for freshwater is crucial. Ammonia can rise really quick. Overfeeding, filters getting dirty, medicine, things like that can really throw off the cycle in the tank. This will make sure everything is good. If anything is usually high, you can do water changes or add bacteria to kind of regulate everything. But again, it's really hard for us to know how your tank is doing without water tests or coming up to us telling us about your tank or water. We're here to help, so just make sure, give us the information that we need and we can help you out through everything to make sure your tank is running awesome. Thanks again for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment below. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one.